All right, welcome to another chapter of Magic Tree House, Leprechaun and Late Winter. We are on chapter 4. And so, again, if you have the book, then you can follow along with me. And if not, you can certainly use your listening ears. And remember what good readers do. We always visualize, right, the words that the author gives us. Um, so we can create pictures in our head. And then we can kind of have a movie playing in our head of what's going on. And you think about the characters and what they are doing. You make connections to the story from either your life or other stories, right? Or the world around you. Make predictions. Think about, well, I think this is going to happen. Or I wonder, right? From the other chapters, last we read was Mother just walked in the door. So we could have I wonder if Mother is going to be kind like Augusta, right? I wonder if she's going to be helpful to Jack and Annie. And then you could make some predictions. Well, she kind of had an icy stare, so I'm not sure. She might be more like the sisters. And again, that's kind of giving me like a Cinderella kind of feel, right? Those were kind of connections that I made from the last chapter. So, on to chapter 4, and that is the title of What Are You Good For? Right? So, kids had to be good for something back then, right? So, we might think, oh, I wonder what Jack and Annie are going to say they're good for, because it's totally different time frames. So, like earlier when they said, can you sweep a chimney? There'd be no need. Certainly it'd be dangerous, so they wouldn't allow kids to sweep chimneys, but that wouldn't be a skill that children have. So, you know, I'm sure Jack and Annie have a lot of skills, and they read a lot of books and they have a lot of knowledge, but that stuff may not necessarily pertain to the time frame, right? The setting that they're in right now. I think it was 1826 in Ireland. So let's see what Jack and Annie are good for if we find out. Hi there, Annie said cheerfully. Augusta's mother did not reply. She was staring at Jack's bare feet. Her expression made him sink down into his chair. I hope none of you have ever felt like that. Do not blame Eliza or me, Mother, said Gertrude. These are Augusta's friends, not ours. I took pity on them, Mother, said Augusta. They were wet and miserable. Her mother finally smiled. Yes, daughter, I imagine they were. It's very nice to have pity for the poor, but dirty children should not be sitting in our parlor. They were hungry, Mother, said Augusta. Yes, I see you have given them food, said Mother. So it is time to take them out of the house now. Jack and Annie stood up. Jack was happy to leave. He felt like Augusta and her mother were talking about stray cats and dogs. That's an awful way to feel. But Augusta sat very still and just stared at her mother. Go on then. Get them out of here, Augusta, said Gertrude. They're not clean. They might even have bugs in their hair. The mention of bugs made Jack's scalp itch. That happens. He and Annie both scratched their heads. See, said Gertrude. Augusta, her mother said with a stern voice. Oh, all right, said Augusta, standing up. I was trying to be kind. Come with me, please, said Jack and Annie. She said to Jack and Annie. I'll lead you down the lane a bit, at least past the sheepdogs. As Augusta started out of the room, her mother stopped her and pinched her shoulders. Carry yourself straight, daughter, she said. Jack couldn't imagine how the girl could carry herself any straighter. Augusta led Jack and Annie back down the dark hallway, through the fish-smelling kitchen, past the ancient butler sleeping by the fire, and the 3 kitchen maids and the cook. Without a word, she grabbed her red cape and pulled it around her. Where are you going, Miss Augusta? Asked Molly. I have been ordered to send these poor children out back into the storm, Augusta said. Jackie and Annie forced their feet into their stiff, wet socks and boots. Oof. Augusta held the door for them and followed them outside, slamming the door shut behind her. Even though it was still rainy and windy, Jack felt much happier outside the big house than inside it. He and Annie followed Augusta past the gates and out to the lane. Augusta walked stiffly, leading them like a mother duck. Can you visualize that? What are we going to do about her? Annie whispered to Jack. I don't know, whispered Jack. She doesn't seem to be very creative or imaginative to me. Well, we have to inspire her. Come on, said Annie. She and Jack hurried up to catch up with Augusta. Miss Augusta, said Annie, walking alongside her, do you like to sing, dance, paint, play a musical instrument? Anything creative like that? So I'm wondering right now how all of you would try to inspire her. She's kicking you out of the house now. There's no getting back. So this is your shot. What would you be doing? What would you be saying to her? That might be a good thing that we could work on after, right? No, said Augusta, but she sounded angry. Jack figured she must be mad at her mother for kicking them out of the big house. Well, what about nature? Said Annie. Well, what about it? Asked Augusta. Walking in the woods, said Annie. Trees, birds. Do any of these things inspire you? Not anymore. I was close to nature once, Augusta said. I used to roam the woods with my younger brothers. They said I was like a robin with an eye of a hawk. I knew where to find the caves of the otters. I knew where to find the nests of the wild birds. That's so cool, said Annie. I knew where the deer lay down to sleep, said Augusta. I knew the names of every tree: oak, beech, elm, hazel, larch, pine. Augusta's voice grew a little wobbly, as if she might cry. But I'm not allowed to roam in the woods with my brothers any more. Mother says it's not proper for a young lady. That's so sad, said Annie. Never mind, said Augusta, lifting her chin. Let us not talk about me any more. Let us instead to help the two of you. Cook said you were not good for anything. Why would she say that? They asked us if we were good for cleaning chimneys, plucking chickens, or catching rats, said Annie. And we said no. Then you must find other ways to make yourselves useful, said Augusta, or you will never find your way in this world. Can you shear sheep? Well, we've never tried it, said Jack. Milk cows? Churn butter? Weave a shawl? Augusta asked impatiently. Hunt rabbits with hounds? Oh, never that, said Annie. Jack laughed. Augusta frowned. This is nothing to laugh about. Every day you must ask yourself, what am I good for? I'm wondering how you guys would answer that. Actually, that was a good question, Jack thought. What was he good for? And I would like to give you a further piece of advice, said Augusta. Never make up stories about yourselves that aren't true. What do you mean, said Jack. You never acted in a play of Shakespeare, did you? Tell the truth now, said Augusta. We did, said Jack. My sister was telling the truth. We were both in the Midsummer Night's Dream. We played wood fairies, said Annie. We had green costumes, and Jack gave a little speech, and I danced and sang. Augusta shook her head. You poor dears, she said. I know you only make up these wild stories because your real lives are so miserable. But, wait a minute, stop, said Jack. What's wrong with you? Why do you act so snobby? Snobby? Me? Augusta looked confused. Jack, said Annie. Jack's had it. That's what I'm seeing. No, I'm serious, Jack said to Annie. She thinks she's better than us. No, I don't, Augusta said. I'm not like that at all. Each day I walk several miles to town to give cakes and clothes to poor children like yourselves. That's nice, said Jack. But you think you're better than those poor children, don't you? You'd never want to be real friends with them, would you? What you say about me is not true, Augusta said to Jack. I love the poor. Why, my favorite friend in all the world is quite poor, and she has never been to school. Some say she's even a little cracked in the head, but I love her dearly. Who's that? Asked Annie. Mary Sheridan, our old nursemaid, said Augusta. I'll take you to meet her. Mary will tell you the truth about me. Come along. So Augusta does not like being called a snob. What do you think? Do you think Augusta is being snobby? All right, so I wonder who this Mary lady is, right? Augusta ran from the lane and across the muddy grass, her red cape flying in the wind. I don't think you inspired her, Annie said. I know, I'm sorry, said Jack. I just couldn't take her attitude any longer. Well, get over it, said Annie. We're supposed to help her, not annoy her. She was annoying me, said Jack. Yeah, I know, said Annie. Me too, but we got a mission, so come on. Jack and Annie followed Augusta across the grass to the small white cottage with the straw roof. Okay, so another good visualization here, right? Augusta banged on the door, scaring away any birds eating crumbs by the front steps. Mary, Mary, it's me, Augusta, she called. Come in, my dear friend, a voice answered. Augusta lifted the latch and led Jack and Annie inside. Wrapped in a brown shawl, Mary Sheridan was stroking an orange cat by an open fire. She had ragged white hair and bright blue eyes. The author gives a good description, right? Ragged white hair, bright blue eyes, and her crooked smile revealed a few missing teeth. 1 in 20 welcomes on this wonderful winter day, said the old woman. And that is the end of chapter 4. So you could even make a little sketch of this Miss Mary lady, right? They gave you some good physical character traits of her. So we'll have to see what her personality is like, right? But we know what she looks like. And I wonder if they're going to be helpful to Jack and Annie on their mission. So, and we haven't gotten to what they're good for yet, right? Do you think that's a good question? So, I think that's a good question. I'd like to hear about what you all are good at. All right, I will see you soon for the next chapter. Okay, keep reading.